So we look to be facing stalemate yet again. How does business take this?
Well, Nera, good morning. Business is enormously frustrated. It's enormously angry because, of course, it's been going around in circles for the past 3 years. And we're facing yet another deadline in a fortnight's time. And businesses don't know what their trading conditions are going to be past the 12th of April. It's hard to overestimate just how angry businesses are and just how concerned they are about the number of changes that they could face.
There were 8 options put forward in the indicative votes, Adam. Are any of those options preferable for British business?
Well, the thing is, we're seeing so many different options put forward in Westminster, and whilst that is going on, we're seeing firms having to take fairly drastic action. Companies in the West Midlands who are saying to us, I've got to mothball my biggest project because my investors don't want to go ahead. People losing contracts in the northeast of England or having to move product very quickly in the west of England. These are the real-world business impacts we're seeing right now. So Parliament can debate as many options as it likes, but it has got to start taking some choices. And we've seen no evidence from last night's votes that our elected leaders are yet ready to do that.
If we do get a longer extension because we don't manage to get Theresa May's withdrawal deal through and leave the EU by May 22nd, Adam, would that long extension make things even worse?
Well, there are differing views in businesses on this question. There are some who think that you need to simply draw a line under this whole process because forever extending uncertainty and pushing things out further to the right is actually quite negative and harmful for them. But the majority view is against a messy and disorderly exit. So going for a longer extension in order to avoid a messy and disorderly exit is probably the preferred approach for many.
What have firms been saying to you about hiring and wages, Adam? Because one thing that's been interesting is that amid all the uncertainty and all the preparations firms have to make, wage growth in the UK has been robust.
Well, the British labour market continues to defy gravity in a lot of respects. I think many firms out there have had such a huge unmet demand for skills over time that they're still recruiting people, still bringing them in. And I think some are doing so in anticipation that the flow of skilled people might be disrupted during the Brexit process and that we might not see as many people come to the United Kingdom to take up jobs where we're not able to recruit closer to home. So I think there is an element of labour hoarding going on here, and I think there is an element of businesses trying to get ready for an uncertain future by getting the best people they possibly can in now.
In terms of getting ready for that uncertain future, whether it's to do with labour, Adam, or whether it's to do with the stockpiling of goods, anything like that, what proportion of the businesses that you speak to actually are prepared for any eventuality?
I would say it's a very small proportion who are prepared for any eventuality, Nera. They tend to be larger companies, corporates, or internationally active firms who knew from day one that they would be immediately affected and who've been able to prioritise both resources and people to focusing on Brexit as an issue to be dealt with and to doing contingency planning. We've seen about a third of Chamber members across the UK doing active contingency planning. You've got another third, though, who are watching and waiting. It's an entirely reasonable approach for them to take because they may not have the resources or the people to dedicate to a million different scenarios. And what they're doing is hoping for an outcome so that they can then quickly put plans in place. Then there's a segment of business, the final third, where people literally are doing nothing. But of course, there are indirect impacts to these sorts of processes that may be felt by those sorts of businesses down the line.
Yes, and down the line, Adam, very briefly, if we do get any kind of definitive resolution on Brexit, the business investment that's been held back, do you think that will surge or will investment stay suppressed for the longer term?
Well, I don't think we'll see any full resolution of this question over the short term. I think we will see a bit of a bump in business investment if, for example, a withdrawal agreement is passed. Some businesses will finally be able to get decisions over the line and move projects forward. But there is still a big question mark, and there is a huge amount of work for the UK to do to repair its international investment reputation.